Welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. Ford versus GMC. Now, we've had both these trucks for a couple months now, and I have quite a bit of windshield time under my belt in both of them. Currently have the Ford loaded up with the deck over trailer and a Kubota LX 4020. I'm taking this down to the cabin in West Virginia tomorrow. And I've got the GMC loaded up with the Mort's dump trailer and 1 full cord of firewood for a delivery this afternoon. Now, both of these trucks are equipped pretty much the same. The Ford is a Lariat with the FX4 package, and the GMC is the AT4. Both of these are 1-ton trucks, the Ford F350, GMC 3500. Both trucks are equipped with a diesel engine as well. GMC, it has a 6.6 liter Duramax, 470 horsepower, and 975 pound-feet of torque. Now the Ford, it has the 6.7 Power Stroke diesel, 475 horsepower, and 1,050 pound-feet of torque. Now both trucks are equipped pretty much the same inside and out. Couple key differences on the exterior. The GMC has the power running boards. The Ford does not. I kind of like those on the GMC, but to be honest, that is probably one of the first things that will break. Who knows? Now, the biggest difference between these two trucks as far as the exterior goes, the Ford has the 8-foot bed. The GMC, I believe they come in around 6 feet 8 inches, maybe 6'10". Now, the Ford tailgate, pretty basic. It does have the built-in step, which is actually pretty nice and pretty handy. I call it the old man step for getting in and out of your truck. And it has a rod that'll pop up so you can kind of balance yourself if you need to, getting in and out. Now, the GMC, it has the multi-pro tailgate, and I'm definitely not going to put it all the way down. At first, I wasn't too sure about this. I didn't see a need for all that kind of stuff, but to be honest, it's actually pretty nice. We'll put just this top section down right here. Got yourself kind of a little work area right here if you like. This here pops up somehow. So say you're hauling 2x4s or plywood or whatever, this will help keep it from falling out of the back of the bed. And when you put the whole tailgate down, you can use this as a step. You can put speakers in here if you want. Another nice feature when you put the tailgate down, gives you a little bit better access to the bed, at least, you know, as far as reaching in, maybe about a foot more with this tailgate. It's pretty fancy. I don't know if it's 100% needed, but I can see where it's actually pretty useful. Now, it also has a rod that lifts up there to help balance yourself when you're getting in and out. Now, one big advantage the Ford has over this truck when it comes to the bed, the GMC, it has an outlet in the bed, 400 watt max, okay? The Ford, 2,000 watts. Pretty darn nice thing to have. Both have power sliding rear windows. And both have mirrors that will extend out and fold in. Both trucks have steps on the front of the bed and built into the bumper. Ford started doing the same thing in 23. Pretty obvious they got that idea from the GM trucks. Nice feature. Now, as far as which truck looks better, the Ford or the GMC, that's kind of a personal preference thing. I kind of like the Ford better, well, so I thought, but that front end on the GMC is kind of growing on me. I kind of like it better than the Ford. Now let's move on to the interior. First, we'll start in the back seat of the GMC. Got some junk in here. Nice seats, it's comfortable. One thing I like about the GMC, it has these nice little cubbies back here. You can hide your pew-pews in here or whatever you want. I like that. Now, as far as the front seat goes, it's a nice truck, it really is. Now, they made some changes in 2024. You get a bigger screen. This is the 2023. But everything in here, I mean, it's laid out well. It looks nice. Here's a look at the sunroof in the GMC. Here's your exhaust brake right here. I use that quite a bit when I'm towing, especially down in West Virginia. It really helps save your brakes. It has both heated and cooled seats. Your upfitter switches are over here on the left side of the steering column. Now, I'm not going to go over every single button and switch in this truck. I think you get the idea. These are both pretty well equipped vehicles. But we're going to take a look inside the Ford next, and then I'm going to go over which truck has the advantage over the other one in each different category. Now, the Ford, it's kind of dirty back here. I got a few things loaded up for West Virginia. Interior of the Ford is very nice. Like really nice, actually. A little nicer than what I would expect out of a pickup truck. All right, let's take a look up front here. Now the Ford, it has a much larger screen. And like I said, for 24, GMC has a bigger screen in it as well. Both trucks have the heads-up display on the windshield. At first, I thought I would find that kind of annoying, but to tell you the truth, it's actually pretty nice. And both trucks have adaptive cruise control, which that was kind of a new thing for me as well. Really like it a lot. Some people don't, some people do. It may take a little getting used to, but for example, this truck right here, we were traveling up to Boonville, New York, and we were running across Interstate 90. And I set the cruise control in this, and I don't think I touched the brake or the accelerator pedal in probably 90 or 100 miles. And what's really interesting about it, if a car passes you and pulls in front of you kind of close, it doesn't slow you down because it can tell that car is still accelerating and pulling away from you. So it's not a lot of slowing down and speeding up. It kind of has things figured out pretty well. The seats in here are incredibly comfortable. Very, very nice seats. The engine braking switch on the Ford is right here. And the upfitter switches are located up here. Much larger sunroof in the Ford versus the GMC. Also, the seats in the Ford, they will fully recline. They'll lay just about perfectly flat, which is real nice for a little naparoonie. I gotta tell you a story about that. So I have to interrupt this truck review for a good story. Years ago, I was on the road. I was a blaster, and I was traveling who knows where. I can't remember where the job was, but back then, you know, you'd leave the house at 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning, work 10 or 12 hours, drive home, and it was a grind. It really was. Well, one day in particular, I was coming home from a job on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and it was a beautiful fall day, pretty similar to what we have here today. And anyway, I got somewhere, I think out by Monroeville, Pennsylvania, and there was an accident or construction or something, but traffic came to a complete stop. Now, to make matters worse, it was down to a single lane, so I had Jersey barriers on both sides, and you're stopped, dead in the water. You're not going anywhere. Well, I like to make best use of my time, and I sat there for about 15 minutes and realized we weren't going to go anywhere for a while. So I lay the seat back a little bit. That sunshine's coming through the windshield, and I took a little naparoonie there, you know. I don't know how long I was sleeping, but I was out. You know, I was tired, working a lot of hours away from home, and I'm sound asleep, daydreaming about who knows what, and I could hear something. I started to wake up, and I hear a banging, and here someone was pounding on my window, and it's some guy. He's like, dude, are you okay? Are you okay? And I kind of looked at him. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. What's up? And I looked up in front of me, and there wasn't a car in sight. I could hear horns blowing behind me. I don't know how long that all went down, but I'm like, hey, I'm good, thanks. Man, I put that thing in drive and was gone. It was smooth sailing for miles because there was nobody in front of me, but it was a pretty good nap. But anyway, back to the truck review. At this point, I'm going to go over different advantages that one truck has over the other. Now, I am not going to tell you one truck is better than the other just because I have no idea. I've got 4,000 or 5,000 miles on each one of these. One of these could blow up next week for all I know. But there are some distinct advantages that I have come up with over the last couple months of driving both of these trucks. Now, as far as ride goes, and I want to talk about things that are kind of important to most of us, not all of us, but to most of us. As far as ride goes, hands down, the GMC has a much smoother ride, both on the highway and on back roads. It just does. It just rides better. Maybe it's the little shorter wheelbase. I don't think that's it. I just think GMs have a better ride than the Ford, okay? However, the Ford, the seats are way more comfortable than the GMC. I'm telling you, these things right here are awesome, right? So advantage GMC as far as ride, seats in the Ford, much, much nicer. Now, as far as the interior of each truck, I don't care if you're a Ford guy or a GMC guy or whatever. I think everyone can agree the Ford has a nicer interior than the GMC. Like I said, keep in mind the 24 models of the GMC and the Chevy, they did a lot of upgrades on them. But these are both 2023. But like I said, I think we can all agree it's a much nicer interior in the Ford versus the GMC. Now, something else I wanted to talk about. Now, this has a lot to do with the bed length on these two trucks. But the GMC, not only does it ride better, it just drives better. I can't really explain it. And it's nice because you have a 1-ton pickup truck with plenty of towing capacity, yet you wouldn't have a problem using the GMC as a daily driver. Now, this Ford, it rides pretty good. It's a 1-ton pickup truck. Doesn't ride near as good as the GMC. And with this 8-foot bed on the back, it is a little bit difficult getting in and out of places with this. It's kind of like driving a school bus or a big red fire truck, actually. It's a big truck, and that extra foot in the bed makes all the difference in the world, stretching out that wheelbase. However, I wanted that longer bed just for the capacity. I'm not complaining about it, but I'm just telling you, there's a huge difference in drivability between an 8-foot bed and one that's like 6 feet 10 or 6 feet 8 inches. Huge difference. We're going to go over and sit in the GMC for a little bit because I'll be accused of favoring the Ford too much. Oh, and I don't know if I mentioned this or not. The Ford is rapid red. That's the color. The GMC is forest green metallic. It doesn't look as good on camera as what it looks like in real life. It's a really nice color, at least in my opinion. Forest metallic green. Oh, while we're back looking at the exterior, something worth a mention. The Ford front wheels, it accumulates brake dust so fast. And I don't even use the brakes that much. And like I said, when I'm towing, I'm using the engine braking. But I just cleaned these just the other day. Look at that. Can you see that? It comes right off, but it's actually kind of annoying. I don't have that problem with the GMC. I think that issue could be resolved with a different type of brake pad on there, but that is a swing and a miss right there. I mean, you drive this for 2 or 3 days, it looks like this thing has 150,000 miles on it. All right, back into the GMC. As far as Melissa's opinion on both vehicles, she likes driving this GMC. She does. She's been running this quite a bit. And like I said, I think it's just because it's a shorter truck. It has a lot more drivability for just running around. But yeah, she really likes the GMC. Now, as far as power goes, you know, the Ford has just a few more horsepower than the GMC. Has another, 75 pound-feet of torque. You can notice a slight advantage in the Ford when you're towing with it. Now, I haven't pulled anything real heavy with either one of these trucks. Probably close to 10,000 pounds is about it. Maybe a little bit over here and there. But slight advantage, I would say, goes to Ford when it comes to pulling power. Now, when it comes to fuel economy, there's a huge difference between these two trucks. The GMC, now a lot of guys tell me this will get better over time. Well, we've got about 6,000 miles on it, maybe 7,000. So far, not much improvement. There has been a little bit. But the best we've gotten out of this truck on the highway, running empty, is about 17.5 miles per gallon, okay? 17.5. Now the Ford, I just checked it again the other day. I made a trip to Shade Gap, PA, and the computer said I got like 21.5 miles per gallon, which I thought was pretty good. But I stopped and filled up when I got home, and I calculated the mileage that way so I would know it was exact. And I got 23.6 miles per gallon out of that Ford, which is just incredible for a 1-ton pickup truck. That's a huge difference between the two. So here in Taxylvania, our diesel fuel's around $4.50 a gallon. So the difference in mileage between the GMC and the Ford, if you figured that out over 100,000 miles, you would be paying about $6,000 more in fuel for this GMC than you would the Ford. Now, when it comes to towing, both of them are pretty close. The GMC, you know, if I'm pulling like that LX tractor and the deck over trailer down to West Virginia, a lot of mountains and things like that, we'll get about 11.4 to maybe 11.8 miles per gallon in the GMC. The Ford, just slightly better. Like 12, 12.1, 12.2 is the best we've ever done. But running empty, not pulling a load, that Ford smokes the GMC. Matter of fact, there's a shopping mall not too far from here. And you know how they have a special parking place for pretty much everybody now? Well, up there they have spaces for fuel-efficient vehicles only, right? That crew cab with an 8-foot bed, I'm saying should park in that parking spot. Over 23 miles to a gallon and a 1-ton pickup truck, that's pretty efficient. So like I said, I'm not gonna, say one truck's better than the other, because how would I know? Maybe after 150 or 200,000 miles on each one of them, I could tell you that for sure. But right now, what I can tell you is the GMC has a much nicer ride than the Ford. The Ford has a little bit more power, and it just smokes the GMC when it comes to fuel mileage. Those are two things that are kind of important to me. All the bells and whistles and all that stuff, not really my thing, but ride, fuel economy, power, those kind of things are important to me. And also that 8-foot bed, like I said, they are great to have when you're hauling a bunch of stuff. You got plenty of room back there, but keep in mind that thing is like driving a school bus around. It really is. The turning radius is much wider. That GMC with that size bed would make a nice daily driver, but you could also hook up to your 16,000-pound camper and take off on the weekends if you wanted as well. I like both trucks, I really do. We're going to get rid of something, I'm not sure when, but we're ordering a new F600 dump truck, and we're going to trade something on it, okay? Either the Ford, the GMC, or possibly the Bronco. I said the other day, I'm leaving that totally up to Melissa, and that is the way that she's leaning right now, is to get rid of the Ford Bronco that we have. It's been a good vehicle. We've only got about 11 or 12,000 miles on it. We've had it for a couple years. But what happened was, once she started driving these trucks, specifically the GMC, there's so much more room in there, and when you get in the Bronco, you're kind of like shoulder to shoulder, and she just kind of became a big fan of driving the pickup. She used to drive a pickup years ago, and then it was, when you had kids, kind of got into the SUV thing and all that, and then a Jeep. But I think she's definitely on a pickup truck kick at this point. So in the next month or two, something will be gone. Either the GMC, the Ford, or the Bronco. I'm thinking it's going to be the Bronco. But like I said the other day in a video, when your wife says she's sure, you need to really make sure she's sure, because the next day or the next month, she might not be as sure as she once was. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's it for today's video. I appreciate y'all being here. We'll catch you on the next one.